Hello, my students. Welcome to my English class. Please get ready with your download textbook and also your composition exercise book. Now, let's turn to page 26 of your English textbook. You will find this page. Today, I'm going to teach you how to write a story or a narrative essay. Okay, now let's look at this part of your book. Stories making it lifelike. How to make your story looks real. Okay, stories contain description, action, and people. So you must describe the event. Okay, what are the characters doing? And who are the characters in your story? So that's mean the people. Okay, you can make the reader care more about what happens to your characters by making them come to life and seem real. Although it is just a story, but when people read your story, it feels like it's a real thing, it's a real story. Okay, how to do it? There are two ways. One, write what they say or think. Okay, maybe you want to write a monologue or you want to write a dialogue. And by describing how they feel. So how to describe someone's feeling? Okay, now let's look at this part. Verbs and adverbs. Okay, you use the verbs. Example like scream, shouted, sighed, told, whispered. Okay, scream, shouted, menjerit. Sigh, maksudnya mengeluh. Okay, told, memberitahu. Whispered, berbisik. And how these things are being done. Okay, so you need to use the adverbs. Adverbs are the words to show how the verbs are being done. Verbs means kata kerja atau perbuatan, action. Okay, adverbs, how they are done. Bagaimana ianya dilakukan. Example like angrily. Okay, so she shouted angrily. And we also have the word decisively. The other word for decisively is firmly, dengan tegas. Okay, dia berkata dengan tegas. Okay, firmly. Decisively. Okay, then you have the word excitedly. Okay, teruja, dengan gembira. Happily, okay, dengan gembira. Nervously, nervous, coming from the word nervous. Okay. Next, you also use adjectives in your essay, okay, to make it more interesting. For example, like you have the word astonished. Okay, look at number 2 of your page 26. Astonished, desperate, exhausted, relieved, and terrified. Okay, so let's look at the meaning of the words one by one. Okay, the first one is the word astonished, meaning greatly surprised or impressed, or the other word is amazed. Okay, so sangat terkejut. He was astonished at the change in him. And then the second one, we have the word desperate, terdesak, feeling or showing a hopeless sense that a situation is so bad as to be impossible to deal with. A desperate sadness enveloped Ruth. Okay, next, exhausted. Okay, it is an adjective, exhausted, meaning that very tired, sangat letih. Okay, she returned home exhausted from work. And you also have the word relieved. Okay, lega, berasa lega. So this is adjective. Okay, no longer feeling distressed or anxious. Or you can say the other word for relief is reassured. Okay, there is another one, relief, R-E-L-I-E-F. Okay, when you have the E-F at the back, it is a noun, kata nama. When you have the E-V-E-D at the back, it is an adjective. Okay, so ada dua relief yang kamu kena tahu. Satu relief, R-E-L-I-V-E-D, an adjective, okay, to describe the feeling of the person, and the other one is R-E-L-I-E-F. Okay, that one is a kata nama, a noun. Okay, so it was a relief. Okay, kelegaan maksud dia. Okay, relief maksudnya yang ini, this one relieved with the ed at the back, it is the berasa lega, merasa lega. Okay, the other one, the last one is terrified. The other word for terrified is petrified. Okay, terrified, terrify, terrifying. So it's a verb, kata kerja. So when it is a verb, you can transform it into past tense and past participle. Okay, so it is terrified for past tense and terrified for past participle. Okay, it means that sangat takut. Okay, the other word is petrified. Okay, the thought that terrifies me. Okay, so that's the meaning of the words. And you can use these words in your essay. Okay, Now let's go to number 3. Okay, this is the sample question and answer. Look at the question in part 3 of page 26. The question, we are looking for stories. Now I'm reading the question in the box here. We are looking for stories for our magazine. Your story must begin. Okay, it says that your story must begin with this sentence. So when you write your essay, you must begin with the sentence given. Okay, look at number 4 here. Okay, the sample answer. Okay, so the first sentence is taken from the question. And knocked on the door of the house. She was determined to find out who lived there. Okay, so kena tuliskan ayat yang diberi. Kalau tak tulis, tiada markah untuk kamu. Okay, so look at the idea of the story. So your story must include an old woman, a surprise. So what are those? Okay, so meaning that the question wants you to write a story about an old woman and also to put an element of a surprise. What's so surprised about it? Okay, an old woman. So who is the old woman? And please take note of the grammar. Okay, now let's go to page 27. Please take note of the grammar. Okay, see the word determine. Okay, determine is actually an adjective. Okay, now you look at the word lift. Okay, look, lift there. Okay, using past tense. When you are writing a story, you must use past tense. So that's why we did exercise on past tense on pages 21 of your textbook. Do you still remember or not? Okay, we did past tense and past continuous tense. For example, like the word lift, had recently, moved. Okay, then the second one, knocked, K-N-O-C-K-E-D, knocked. And then you have the word ran. Okay, so those are the past tense. Next, okay, you can use the words or the adverbs like nervously, hopefully, and use the adjective like panic, astonished, happy. Okay, so those are the adverbs and also the adjective. Okay, let me show you the other example of question and answer similar to this question. Are you ready? Okay, let's look at this question. Read this writing task and then use the plan on page 27 of your textbook, download textbook, to help you write your story. This is the question. We are looking for stories for our magazine. Your story must begin with this sentence. When Amy opened the door of the haunted house, she was astonished by what she saw. Your story must include a ghost, a mystery. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that you need to use the idea of the word ghost and the word mystery in your story. So actually, the question is giving you the idea on what to write. The instructions say your story must begin with the sentence given. Okay, what happens if you don't begin with the sentence given? Your marks will be deducted, or maybe you will not be given any marks. Let me show you the sample of this essay. Okay, I will show you the first paragraph. The first paragraph. Okay, just now the instructions say you must begin with the sentence given. So this is the sentence given. When Amy opened the door of the haunted house, she was astonished by what she saw. Strange, said her inside voice. She felt the urge to solve the mystery of the haunted house. Everyone was talking about the house, which was not far from her house. She heard many spooky stories about it, and she wanted to know more whether those were only myth or reality. Okay, so we have learned all these words in the previous pages of your textbook. Okay, now let's go to the second paragraph. The second paragraph. Movement at the top of her periphery vision catches her attention. Periphery vision dari ekor matanya. The upstairs window, one blind shutter out of place, forming a gap. Mum's upstairs? Weird, Amy mumbled to herself. See, this is called a monologue. The blinds began to slowly rise as Mum pulled the cord. As she thought she saw her mum there, Amy went to check and looked up at the window, expecting to see her mum waving at her with a big smile on her face. Instead, it was a face she did not recognize. The stranger's face sent a shiver down her spine and stopped her walking. Okay, see, you are describing what happened to Amy in this paragraph. Okay, what happened next? Amy froze. She was terrified. Here's the word that terrified. You can find on page 26. And didn't know what to do. All she could feel was fear. It was someone wearing a mask. The moon crescent-shaped grin was permanent with a bloody redness to it. The stranger tossed his arm up and slowly waved at her. She regained control of her body and charged through the open door, through the entrance hall, into the sitting room, straight onto the stairs. She jumped over the first step, running and skipping a step at a time. Okay, so this sentence show us what Amy did, or the action. Okay, next. Look at this paragraph. What happened next? Mom, Dad, Amy shouted loudly. Someone was looming on the landing. Amy saw. Okay, so use the adverb loudly. Shouted loudly. Someone was looming on the landing. Amy saw him staring at her, grinned, and showed terrible sharp teeth from the top of the stairs. That face, it was not human, Amy thought, and her heart beat very fast. It was surely a ghost, a phantom. Amy nearly passed out when the creature was moving towards her. Okay, a ghost, a phantom. So now we use the word ghost. Okay, the other word for ghost is a phantom. Next. What happened next? She gathered her strength to push him against the wall. He didn't flinch. He smiled. Flinch, berganjak. Didn't flinch, tidak berganjak. Chuckling under his breath. Okay, chuckling means laughing. Amy shouted hysterically. Again, I use the word shouted. Okay, but I don't want to repeat the adverb. So you can use other adverb to describe the word shout or shouted hysterically. She shut her eyes and screamed until she lost her voice. Then she heard her mom's voice. Amy, wake up. You are late for your online class. Amy opened her eyes. She realized it was just a nightmare. What a relief, whispered Amy. Okay, so all these words I took from page 26 of your textbook. Okay, so that was my story. Now you need to write your story using this question. Your English teacher wants you to write a story. Your story must begin with this sentence. I was on the beach when my mobile phone rang. Okay, I was on the beach. So the character, I. So this is the story of yourself. So you cannot give name to the main character because you are the main character. Okay, so where were you? On the beach. When was it? When your mobile phone rang. Handphone kamu berbunyi. Okay, so the idea of the story, in an important message, a surprise. Okay, what is the important message and what is the surprise? Okay, and please remember that you need to write in past tense. And the character, the main character for your story is I. Okay, this time you don't have to use anyone's name, just use the word I. But you can put the name of the other characters in your story. Write your story in about 200 to 250 words, means 4 to 5 paragraphs. Okay?